Hey there, boys and girls. So, if you was watching the stream last Saturday, we was pulling on Lena and Bartz. I didn't get Bartz. I got Lena really easy, all things considered, and it was probably the best thing to quit while we was ahead, because I didn't really have the resources to go get Bartz. So I went and got the resources to go get Bartz, because I really love the guy. He's amazing. So I figured let's go ahead and start off killing some trials with him, starting with Exdeath. We need to do wind and dark damage 2 times more, defeat him with limit burst, kill him within 20 turns. If this is your first time doing Exdeath, let's look at the slots from left to right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. 1, 5, and 6 being Fid, Lena, and Bartz. They're going to be taking a death attack that you can resist, so put some death immunity on those slots. And then every 3 turns, 3, 6, and 9, there's an unavoidable death attack that's going to go out. You can't re-raise because the boss does a dispel first, so just keep that in mind when you're laying out your team for this one. Up first, we got Summerfina and Lid as our breaker. I took them because it's my personal favorite breaker. You can use whatever meta breaker that you have. I won't be using any of Fid's healing abilities, so if you use Kryla or somebody else, it'll plug and play just the same. But you do want high hit points and defense in all your units. This is my Bartz. I've actually got his STMR. I'm waiting on the item world. We can run it through there, get a good enchantment on it. You do want to run a wind weapon on your Bartz if you can. If you don't have a nice one, and non-elemental is better for you, that's okay. Just make sure that one of the 2 Bartz in your team has a wind weapon on, and I'll explain that as we're doing the fight. Other than that, he's just got a fairly good amount of hit points, defense, and spirit to survive the vacuum wave. Charlotte's going to be our magic tank. I did this some with Awaken Rain, but I felt safer with Charlotte, and I feel like a lot of people have Charlotte, and she's certainly worth a USC if you don't have her. So we're using her as our magic tank, and she's not going to be the passive provoke this time either. We're going to be using Sieghart for that. I put a dark weapon on him so he can do the mission parameters. Other than that, he's got hit points and defense. And we're taking Lena as our healer. Lena's great because she has the status immunity attached to her heals like Folka. You do need status immunity for this fight, so you can use Lena or Folka. Sylvie will work too, but if you take Sylvie, you'll probably need to be using heals from Fid to get it done. And then we got Grolix's Bartz, really well geared. He's got a lot of hit points. He's got the safety bit on, like I mentioned. Other than that, lots of attack, lots of hit points. Give it a go. I was really happy to get Bartz. I just wanted him so bad. I don't need him, and you don't need him if you have another meta chainer, but I just think he's a great unit. It's just one of those things, you know? Alrighty, so up first we're going to use Ultimate Siesta with Fid. We're going to start powering up our Bartz. That's kind of his thing. Some people don't like it. I think the damage and the survivability is definitely worth it. Then we'll cover with Charlotte. Sieghart is just going to punch. Remember, he's passively provoking. And then Lena is going to give us our status immunity. With those 2 abilities, there's a death attack. Like I said, the friend resisted it. And then we're going to take some magic damage from single target stuff. As you can see, that magic attack really hurts without any mitigation up. I didn't use any STMR on my support units. I did on my damage unit, but not on my supports. We're going to power up Bartz again. I did that on purpose so you know, people could see like how much damage goes out like on a normal team, I guess. I'm going to go ahead and use Beach House Break with Fid. You can't guarantee that she's going to get her LB filled here, so we're going to play like that didn't happen. Charlotte is going to use her Knight's Command. That's defense and spirit buff. As you can see, Lena's delayed heal healed us up just fine. We'll punch with Sieghart again, and then we'll just repeat with Lena. Now that we've got some mitigation up on Charlotte, we should be a lot better off. Those counters, though. Alrighty, we'll do our final power up with Bartz. We'll use Fid's breaks. That's the reason we use the other cooldown. Charlotte's good here, so we'll just defend her. We'll defend Sieghart, and we'll repeat with Lena. This is the unavoidable death attack. As you can see, it went off on my provoke tank. I found that the melees didn't really hurt too bad in phase 1, and Charlotte has 50% draw, so the majority of them kind of go to her. If not, I think our damage units will be fine. Let's see here. Let's refresh our cover. We'll have Fid throw out a Phoenix down on Sieghart. That go off. That way our heal will definitely land. Let's see here. We'll use a hit point and then a heal over time. Now, remember I said it's good to have one Bartz that has a wind weapon on. You can use this ability right here, Winds of Pursuit. That'll give you an Imperil and an Imbue. But if the fight goes on for a long time, you're going to run into some like rotational problems. So I don't like doing that. I think even if you didn't have his STMR, the 4-star TMR that's on his banner, I think her TM would be really good to use instead of using this cooldown ability. Because like I said, we don't particularly need Bartz's damage right now, but later on bosses are going to become a little bit more tanky, and the fights are going to extend out a little bit more, and that's really where he shines in the longer fights. So we're going to double cast his latent ability. Make sure you unlock that if you do have Bartz, and because mine already has a wind weapon on, we're just going to use Sword Dance. And the friend unit doesn't have a wind weapon on, so we're going to use the latent, and we're going to use an imbue. I think I did that. Sure, I clicked the right thing. Tomahawk. It's no big deal if your friend doesn't have a wind weapon, because you're not going to be cranking out like a lot of damage on that turn anyway. It's more like if you want to maximize the Bartz, having the wind weapon on is ideal. Alrighty, now we're going to use his first cooldown, Dual Spellblade. This is going to do some damage, and it's going to unlock his main chaining move. We don't have anything to do with Fid. Charlotte's good. Sieghart's good. And with Lena, we'll just redo her delayed abilities. I really, really, really like Lena as a healer. She's not night and day better than Folka, but she's better than Folka. So if you have Folka, you don't really need Lena. Like I said, I'm a fan of the game. I love the old school Final Fantasies, so these units, it's just a big nostalgia trip for me. Alrighty, since we used his cooldown last turn, we have access to Brave Blade. That's his main chaining move. It's going to do lots and lots of damage. I don't know if we'll kill Exdeath here. Oh yeah. Yeah, we got him. If you didn't get Exdeath on that turn, just go back into his normal rotation. No big deal. Alrighty, so phase 2. It's a lot harder than phase 1. We're going to open up with Fid's Limit Burst and Charlotte's Limit Burst, so we get a break and a magic cover. And we're going to start powering up our Bartz again. That. Sieghart don't have anything going on here. And we'll just refresh Lena's delayed stuff. That way we get our status immunities up. There's Vacuum Wave. That's his big attack. It's completely random. You can't provoke it or anything like that. It's a physical attack. It does a considerable amount of damage if it hits like somebody with Lena or Bartz. I think it would probably outright kill my Lena if it hits her. Bartz should live. If you die, if your Bartz dies to the vacuum strike, you have to power him back up again. It's really annoying, but you've got a 20 turn limit here. I think you can take one death with your Bartz and kind of be okay. We'll do another power up. Charlotte is going to use Knight's Command. Fid's good here. We'll defend with her, and we'll just refresh these two. I think Charlotte will be fine without a heal. Now that she's got some magic mitigation online. There's a Dispel on your Provoke tank. That's, again, why I like running passive Provoke. It's a common thing for bosses to Dispel your Provoke off, so you don't want to be caught with your pants down there. This will be the final power up with our Bartz. We'll go ahead and use Fid's Limit Burst to break the boss again, and Charlotte is going to give us a Holy buff. The boss is going to imperil our Holy. I think it's 170% and put a dot on us. It's really, really quite painful. So we gotta try to prevent as much damage as we can there. The Grand Cross that he did is the status imperil. That's why you need the buff from somebody like Lena and status immunity on your units. Alright, this is going to be our final power up with Bartz. Remember, mine has a wind weapon on, so we'll use Sword Dance, and the other Bartz doesn't, so we're going to have to imbue him. That off, and we'll refresh Charlotte's Limit Burst. We'll defend with Fid. We're pretty good on hit points right now with Lena, so I'll use Pure Healing. This is going to give us a regen, which I think is really handy to counteract the dot that we're going to be taking this turn. That Almagas, that's your dot. I guess I could have held it off for another turn, but it's okay. Alrighty, with Lena, go ahead and refresh our delayed stuff. And with Bartz, we're going to use his dual Spellblade. And kind of take note how much damage this does. It did, what, 20%? A little bit less. We'll redo Fid's Limit Burst. We'll do Charlotte's Defense and Spirit buff. And then we'll just defend with Sieghart. You don't need to bring Sieghart. You can do like I did in my first clear and make Charlotte your passive provoke and get by just fine that way. I just thought, you know, this time we'll do it a little bit different. In case you can't gear your Charlotte all that well, this is definitely an option for you. All the counters. Alrighty, so we'll get our Brave Blade ready. Put lots of damage in. Good deal. We'll defend with Fid, and Charlotte will buff that Holy again. And then we'll just repeat with these two. Two dispels that time. Hey, Lena survived. That's nice. Let's see here. We'll go ahead and use Sword Dance. Times 2. I don't think this will take the boss to 20%. It should get us pretty close, though. Okay, that's great. That's right where we want to be. We'll refresh Limit Burst on these two. And we'll just repeat again. There's Grand Cross. That's going to imperil our stuff. As you can see, Sieghart took a stone there. Fix that with a gold needle. Now, Here's a situation. Like, we want to damage the boss as much as possible, because we don't want to deal with that sub 20 threshold. Our dual spellblade's on cooldown still. Remember, it did around 20%, so that would leave us within kill range with his actual chaining move. So we're going to use Winds of Pursuit here to kind of kill a turn and do something productive. You could hit the boss with one Bartz, just don't perfect chain it. I think this is like the safest way to show it. Let's see here. What does Charlotte do? I guess her holy buff. And then we'll just repeat with these two. You always want to maintain that status immunity because he dispels you a lot and all that stuff. See, my Bartz took an attack right there, almost killed him. Just be mindful of your hit points with your damage units. Got us a dual spellblade. Spellblade. See how much damage we can get in. Okay, around 13%. That's I would like to be a little bit lower than that. We probably should have chained, but I think it'll be fine. Let's see. The boss is going to just buff himself. He's not actually going to damage us this turn, so what we do on this turn really doesn't matter. We'll just defend here. We will defend here. Defend here. It really don't matter. So he does this order. Like I said, it's going to put some mitigation up. We're going to try to punch through it with Brave Blade. And Sieghart is going to get his Limit Burst ready so we get credit for the Limit Burst kill. We'll send that off. We'll send Sieghart off. That way we hit in the overkill, get the Limit Burst kill. Neo Exdeath, 10 turns. Like I said, you know, I could have chained, got him a little bit lower, but that's probably the cleanest way to show it. So if your Bartz isn't as stout as mine and Grolix's, just make sure that you try to work the boss as close to 20% as you can, and then push him with the cooldown ability. You can take as many turns as you want right there. It doesn't really matter as long as you, of course, make the turn threshold. So yeah, there's my first Bartz video. Like I said, I really love the unit, man. I think Bartz is so cool. I really appreciate how tanky he is, how easy he is to gear. I don't really like investing that heavily into a unit, but I just had to because it's Bartz. I don't know what other fights we'll do. If you got something particular you're curious about, and I can use Bartz for it that's not Glacial. Glacial is so annoying to do with Bartz because it's hard for him to get the LB kill, and I really hate fudging LBs, especially on those damn ads. But leave me a comment below if you want to see Bartz in a particular fight. We'll try to work something out this weekend. Hope you liked the video. Have a wonderful weekend yourself. Toodaloo.